The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent. All right, shalom, salama, thiyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. I'm going to have to also have a caveat of, a Gentile grafted into the house and understand our bloodline. I know they want to talk about indigenous, Native American, Hispanic, Latino. Oh, okay, I get it. I get all that for the Afro-Latinos and things of that nature. However, there are phenotypical aspects to things. Just saying. I know folks have seen a lot of truth on out there in some of these white pill bottles. However, there are lies mixed in with truth. And that's the whole reason now you see why, quote unquote, the whatever that Black Panther Party is, I don't know what it is. I still think it's another COINTELPRO operation of a light bright, darn near white person or some mulatto that always has a co-op. The reason I'm coming on out here this morning swinging is because you have to understand we're kind of in the last moments of this captivity, because now you're starting to see a whole bunch of craziness. And it's not that we're panicking, they're panicking. They're panicking, trying to create a subplot to get us on out. They're panicking, trying to make sure that they can mobilize us in whatever their nonsense or drama is. They're panicking because we are just sitting back and we're not emotionalizing over this. Okay, a white man got shot and killed. I feel very bad for that white man and his family. Wish it didn't have to come to this, but it did. We get killed for far less. We get killed just for walking away, hand swinging, walking away in the other direction, and we get shot in the back. We are seeing some things that they're now having to deal with. And now there's a lot of things that's happening that we are not getting in the midst of. No, we're still sitting on over here. I don't care what you offer. I don't care. Honestly, I don't even care if you offer reparations. I know that's a trap too. They turned everything into honeypots. You had ADOS that turned into FBA, and FBA turned into pure chaos and pandemonium. Before I get started, I have my panel here. I opened up the chat this morning. I know, Brother Asaph, gold is now $5,100 an ounce. We are going to war. We're on the cusp of it. Actually, we're at an economic war and literally a hot war. And there's going to be some ships going down. It's going to start looking real stupid here. Let me bring on our lovely sister Chantel and our our digital crypto financial guru, Brother Fast Nichols in the house.
Shalom.
Shalom, Brother Fast Nickel. How are you?
Great, and yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Oh my goodness. I really feel for you guys. I really do. It's to say it's crazy. It was crazy when it was just us, but then you know I was thinking as I saw um, what happened with Renee, and then seeing this guy, what's his name, Alex, before he came, before what happened to him, I thought to myself, before you told me, because I didn't even know, Carrot, until I spoke with you yesterday. I really didn't know. I genuinely didn't know, but I knew something felt off. I
Yeah.
can't explain it. I knew something felt off, but I was thinking to myself, I don't know. It was just the Joker came into my head, and it's what he said in it was the Dark Knight. He said, when nobody cares when it's two thugs going at it, but the
Mm-hmm.
minute a bus filled with nuns gets blown up, then everybody, it's pandemonium. Everybody goes, hey, what? But the only thing is that they're not there. They're still waiting for us, and it's weird because it's like, these are your people. Why are you waiting for us? The problem is that they've never had to fight for anything. The
Mm-mm.
times when the times that they say, there's a sister who said this beautifully. She said, she said the last time we saw black, I'm sorry, but the last time we saw you people um, acting violent, aggressive, and coming with pure hatred was when it was against us.
Yep.
When they were lynching. That's the energy they need to be coming with. Somebody else turned around and said, where is the same energy we see you with at your ball games? Where's that energy? Why are you not coming with that energy?
Mm-hmm. Well,
You
again,
know,
I've always said this. Sorry to interrupt you because I'm gonna bring folks in. This isn't an all-day panel. I do have, I do have work, but this is kind of a little bit of a special. It really is on this side of the water. We know that they're cowards. I'm sorry, I'm calling it what like it is. For you Gentiles on out there, we know. I know. I've been in the military. I retired from there. I understand. We're dealing with cowards. And it's funny because it's not that we know that, they know that. This is why their whole political game, it's a game. And all they're doing in that game, oh well, we're gonna wait for the system, and black folks are licking that here, laughing our behinds off. Okay, that's the same thing they tell us. We're gonna wait for justice to be served. Okay, that's the same thing they tell us.
They're gaslighting themselves.
That exactly, exactly. Go ahead, brother Fast Nickel.
Well, I came on today for one to give you support, but the funny thing is I checked the silver prices last night and I just
Hmm.
checked them before coming on now, and silver is at $110.
Yes, they said it's going to be 150 by the end of today. The end of today. Sorry, go ahead.
150.
Yes.
Wow. I was thinking maybe we would see 300 by the end of the year, but they're talking about $1,000.
Yeah, by the end of the
And
year, like 300 by the end of this month, which is like this week, in like a week or two. It's crazy.
I don't know if anybody has any junk silver. I remember back in around 2018, I bought $5 worth of junk dimes and $5 worth of junk quarters. So a $10 investment is now worth almost $300, because if you go to AppMex right now, they're selling four junk silver quarters will cost you $85.
Don't say that now because technically, what they're saying is that probably by the end of today, Trump may sign an executive order um, calling for the confiscation
Yes,
of all
another
metals.
1933.
Yes. So, so that's why, you have to be very careful because it's going to be number one, it's going to be a voluntary confiscation, and then it's going to be an involuntary. That sounds like this is deja vu. Didn't we just talk about this
I was
like
just going to
a
say
couple
that to
weeks
you.
or months ago? Is it Groundhog's Day already? I mean, it's snowing here and not here, but it's going to get cold. It's going to get close to freezing where I'm at in another less than 24 hours.
I did point out that
Shalom, brother
once
Asaph.
the
Go ahead.
debt gets to more than less than what it is, the American debt will be unserviceable. I can't
Yeah,
hear myself, but I can see the icon flashing on the screen, so you can hear me.
you're good.
So I'll
You're
come
sounding
back
good.
out and come back in. We are approaching a very pivotal point where there is no turning back now, because the debt in Europe, the debt in England, and also the debt in the United States has become unserviceable. I knew this was coming for a very long time. And I don't want to plug my books, but I wrote about it. And I'm also posting Carrie's one of my books on how the British Empire has declined and wasted all their money just the same like the United States. There is no turning back now. We're looking at a collapse like the Mesopotamian banking system and Rome and Babylon all rolled into one.
Well, and to your point, again, they're saying that the yen, right? In terms of that carry trade, they're having to liquidate. They said around 1.2 trillion dollars worth of bonds, and China's getting ready to dump about 500 billion dollars worth of bonds. What this is that so Japan was just bad economics, bad financing. They did that to themselves. China, this is actually an economic warfare tool because what they're doing is they're literally doubling up on the bad, books of Japan, and now they're taking their shot at the US all in the same measure. That is too much. That's too many bonds that's going to be dumped. And again, we can't service our own bonds, which means, to be quite honest, we may go through a very quick spell towards hyperinflation.
And the prediction markets are all saying that the government shutdown is going to happen at the end of this month.
And the government shutdown. And the government shut. Then when we just talked about that last week, this is a cycle. It's like it
Yes.
is the predictive programming, because again, I don't think we have that much time. I'm not going to say, oh, Prophet Karras, I can't. In order for the Most High to give me understanding, you need to get to my Zelle or Cash App, and oh, I see it. Oh, thank you for the gift. No, no, we're not doing any Drewski skits here. This is really what we've been saying for the last couple of years, and now it's all culminating. Again, let me tell you this. The Iran said that they're not going to pull back. And the reason that Iran said that they're not going to pull back was because of what we said on this channel almost 8 months ago on this channel. Iran was not authorized to use all of its force when fighting against the U.S. and Israel last time. They were not. I guarantee you, and now reports are coming on out. Yep, Russia and China were basically telling Iran to throttle back, take the impact. Now here you are, and Iran is saying, hey, we're not held anymore. You come through, and we got something for you. Could all hell break loose this week? It probably could. Next week, next month, definitely, in my opinion, definitely by March. I do
Yeah.
believe, and I'll give you the floor here, Sister Chantel. I do believe that what will end up happening as soon as we strike, and I say we loosely, as soon as the U.S. strikes Iran, I do think that it's over for U.S. control and dominance within oil, and then you'll start to see oil here in the West go through the roof, because they can, here in the United States, they're able to basically manipulate that. But then, you have the West Texas, index, it'll fly through the roof. Sorry, go ahead, Sister Chantel.
First of all, I just wanted to say shalom to everybody in the chat. I actually began typing and then you started and everything just went and I felt deflated. I just didn't have it in me to just retype everything again. So shalom to everyone. It was so annoying because I actually got everybody's names and just as I was about to press send, it just went. So I was like, oh. And that's why I came on quickly because I actually wanted to greet everyone. But um, it's it's so weird what is happening, and it's not weird. It's just like we were saying. It's the handoff now. All these curses, they can't. They really can't hide it anymore. It's there's no more. Oh well, this, that, and the other. It's like before they could blame and say, oh, it's climate change and it's this and it's that. But I feel like everything. It's like everything is just going to be dumped on you guys. And when I say you guys, I really mean them. I mean, look, when I say America, we know who we're talking about. When we say Americans, we know who we're talking about because they're the only ones that apparently can afford to actually not hyphenate. So you wanted that, we're giving that to you. When the world says we're coming for America, it's you, right?
Yeah.
When you want to kick out everybody else, It's you they're coming for. So stop coming for my people and asking my people, oh, we need to come together. No, the time to have done that is gone. Now, remember what I was saying, what we were talking about with the whole all of this chaos and people just getting pew pews and everything. And I feel what you said. It's cowardice, but it's also that they're operating in fear because they've never been afraid. No, they've not. The only time I would say that Americans, again, term, that that they've been afraid, or not even afraid, but where they felt this, where it was affecting them, was 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't felt any fear because again, it's the whole Isaiah 47. You're a virgin. You're a whore still, but you're a virgin. You've never been invaded. You've never had a man come and meet you. You've never had that. Now you are seeing so many things happening and you can't understand. As it said, mischief will come upon you from whence you will not be able to understand where it's coming. They're seeing all of this falling on them and they're like, what's going on? And instead of them just opening up the scriptures, they come to us, but they're not coming to us for truth. They're just coming to us to, oh, just go and do what you've always been doing. Go and put yourselves in front. We need you as human shields. Instead of them coming to do what they know they need to do, because I don't care what they want to say. They know their history and they know what they've done. They literally are they're doing the Jedi mind trick while staring in the mirror at this point, because they know, right? And instead of doing that, they go into their churches and they know they've been all up on these apps talking about, oh, the church is dead and this, that, and the other. There's no truth in that. So they're going back to church anyway. And then you've got this demon filled witch doing a tour called Make Heaven Crowded Again. And I'm like, oh man, you only want to see this? Like,
what does it say? Hell hath enlarged its gates. Hell
exactly.
Go ahead.
And I'm like, do you not see? What did you say? That they've become pacified now. They've pacified, just like they pacified us with their religion. And remember, they always used to say to us, you'll get your rewards in heaven. They have now shifted from this is our heaven, this is our this and the other, to now they're flocking the churches for the same reasons that we were, because we needed comfort. We needed to be comforted, and they're being comforted. They're in that death cult, because that's all it is. It's death. Die and you'll get your rewards.
Yep, we said that.
You'll get your rewards in heaven.
We said that plenty of time on this channel. Thank you, Daughter of Yah, for the super sticker. Hallelujah. Brother Asab, you're back.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on my newfangled Mac now. What's happening now is that we're seeing the total collapse of a society. If you can cast your mind back to when Emperor Nero, followed by Caligula, were leaders of Rome, you have a leader that's an amalgam of both Emperor Nero and Caligula. He's going to cut grass to say that he's conquered the whole world through his new United Nations framework he sets up. Yeah, and no one's on board with it that of any significance, and that shows you that he is behaving like a emperor, like a Roman emperor, and like that man with the thin mustache in 1939. We're in a very, very precarious situation but our counterparts, the Europeans, are in a more precarious situation because they've built their hopes and their heaven and their shemaim, as it were,
On the United States.
on the United States.
They have all the
And
look. They cashed in all their chips on
that's
the
right.
U.S.
And the UK and Europe has looked to the United States as their Elohim for protection and for economic sustenance. And now that Elohim is not providing anymore. In fact, that Elohim is looking like a 90-year-old pensioner with multiple medical conditions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And and I'm about to play a promo here in a few moments.
You know,
Um.
I'll just to do 4 sentences and then close. The inflection point
Mm-hmm.
for both Europe and America, that is that a time of significance, if you don't understand what inflection point means, was 2019
Mm-hmm.
when when the 400 years was up. And nobody can prove, no historian, no political economist, or no social scientist cannot say that this was not significant, because it's been going downhill ever since, and it's falling like a stone. Uh, the social, the economic, the political, the legal system is all collapsing because it was never based on any type of truth. Back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before I go, it's funny because it's not a. I don't look at anything as coincidence. Yeah. Thank family. YouTube does not like things like this. So thank you all for working through the kinks that is YouTube kicking you all out. They do stuff like that.
But
Uh
we have been very diplomatic, and we haven't said any trigger words.
no, we have. I did say Israel a couple times. I did say that instead of Easter, my Eastern Mediterranean nation. You
Did
know,
you?
oh, I did because I mean, look, because Iran's that thing's about to go down. You don't have all those
Yeah,
warships
you did, didn't
amassing.
you?
They've amassed, and so now they're amassed. They're gonna okay. So there's some things that Trump is doing because again, you just can't have a fleet just sitting on out there for a minute. So that fleet then has to strike and then it has to go somewhere. Do you see what I'm saying? However,
Mm.
strategically speaking, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry to jump in, but the United States is wholly dependent on Canada for uranium now, and they've been cut off. So
And they've been cut off. Yep. They
yeah,
don't
so
have any.
they
So what
haven't
is
got a
it?
very long time.
Exactly. So what does that mean? That means that our energy resources are actually going to be looking really crazy. We don't dig for uranium out here. Not like that. We haven't done that, I think, in like maybe 20 or 30 years.
Can you
What
show
did
the
I say about
connection between
Canada,
that
though?
and the fleet? They need uranium to keep those fleets out there because those ships are nuclear powered.
Yes, yeah. Some of the
Mm.
ships are nuclear powered. A lot of the submarines are nuclear powered, and we're just talking about even for domestic usage and consumption here in terms of nuclear powered energy, which
But what did I say about Canada, though? I've been saying about Canada and Japan. Those are the two that America has to watch. Canada, just like Caesar, you got to watch for that death, that last blow that will come from behind. And why do you think they want so desperately to make them part of their United States?
Sister
let me
Chantel, you're a scholar.
say this is what Pastor Rick Fletcher was saying. America has been trying to get back to Burkina Faso good graces. Uranium question mark. Now here's the thing. I've been talking about iShow Speed for the last 2 weeks now, just about. And iShow Speed has been on the continent. And today I Show Speed will be live streaming in less than 2 hours from Ghana. From Ghana. And it's interesting because remember, brother Asaph, you literally just said you just hit the net, the nail on the head. You just hit this when you had said that 2019 was an inflection point. What happened in 2019 in Ghana? Does anybody remember that?
The year of
Yep, that
return.
was
The
call back
year,
home, return home.
yes, the year of return. And who was there in the year of return? U.S. senators, U.S. congressmen. Now, COVID-19 was 2020, year of return. Now, 7 years later, you have I Show Speed.
That's right. They did go there, didn't they?
You have I Show Speed. 17 years later, now you have I Show Speed. I don't think it's a coincidence. Why? One of his last trips, which will be in my opinion, is going to be one of the most popular trips. Remember, he's showing where we had been
I
taken.
will put you back in the land from whence you were taken.
Yep. So what is he doing? The Most High is honestly, in my opinion, the Most High is literally providing a preview. He's showing the people, hey, this is where you all are getting ready to go. See, a couple years ago, if this would have happened, nah, man, that thing's an S-hole country, all this and that. They don't have this, they ain't got that. Nah, that you had this African tour. Coincidentally, right on time at one of YouTube's biggest streamer of the year 2025, one of YouTube's biggest platforms. And you can't tell me that that's the Most High. Look, I'm not here to glorify the man. I'm just here to let you know how the Most High uses people for his purpose, for his
Hmm.
time.
Exactly. His handlers, if you look in the background, are all of European descent. And I
Yes.
believe that the reason why they did that was to project Africa in a negative light, and that the diaspora wouldn't be looked upon favorably. But I Show Speed has been received better than the King of England, better than the King of Spain, and better than any heads of state from any country. You know, I've seen ants nests and I've seen beehives, but I've never seen so many human beings cheering for one person. You know, he's been received better than rock stars, high life
Mm.
stars, and
Mm-hmm.
the narrative that Africans don't like us now has been proven to be false.
Oh,
Exactly.
some people are still pushing that. Some people are still pushing that. We
I
we
know
we
that.
know, and we've seen them. We've seen
We
Well, let
them,
know
me.
that.
and it's
Well,
Many of
well,
them are
let me.
church from in our community are Pentecostal church people because
oh no,
they said,
I'm not talking about church
You,
people. I'm
you know
talking about
what?
a lot of them on TikTok.
You know
oh,
what?
oh,
Uh,
definitely.
Puchna says, "Is Speed going to Burkina Faso?" You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. He has one more stop on the continent. He has one more stop on the continent. Today is Ghana. I was actually look. I don't know if he's gonna go to Burkina Faso, but I'm
Actually,
gonna
when I
tell you
go,
this:
want to.
if he does go to Burkina Faso to finish out his trip, that will just be pure amazing, pure amazement.
It
In
would
my
be,
opinion,
but
in my opinion, pure amazing.
you know, they will try to use that as a means of getting a taking a foothold, or try to insert somebody, or look how many times this man has been has
Look.
attempted.
Cynthia says Americans aren't allowed. Okay, let me tell you this. Americans aren't allowed now. When you get your visas, when you're talking to embassies and things of that nature, they'll make exceptions, especially for something like this. Before we get into this, let me go ahead. I want to play this quick promo, and we'll get back. Okay. So we're back.
Caris, you look like my cousin.
I look like a lot of
Did I
people's
not? Did
cousin.
I not? Did I not say that to you? When I met you, I said that. I said, "Oh, you really remind me of my cousin."
Mm. Well, let me peekaboo peekaboo. Technically speaking, there's actually many many doors of returns because when you were taken away, when our ancestors were taken away, they would go through basically the door, the castle, and then they were loaded up onto the boats that then took them onto the ships. So that's how that is. That's how that goes. So many of these doors of no return is in fact on a lot of the castles. That was, your last literal um time on the ground before, our ancestors feet and souls were in the water. The last moments of
Mm.
treading the ground on the continent.
You know, I don't think there's just one door of return. I think there's a few from
Mhm.
that region. And
Yeah.
the only reason why is that think about these people, they're all about mass production. They're not going to
Hmm.
cipher all of our people. Well, I'm going to say it in the most brutally the most brutal way. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. Obviously, these are our ancestors, but you think like how the oppressor thinks. They did not see us as humans. They saw us as cattle, as merchandise. And in their mind, it was we need to get all this merchandise out as quickly as possible. So it's not they're not going to siphon off all of that merchandise, quote unquote, into one little portal. They would have so many different ports, so many different final, the door, the one door of no return. There's not just one. It's not just one. There's no true door. It's several because they would have been constantly going back and forth, going back and forth. This was a business. That's all. It was a business, and we were nothing more than merchandise, and they still see us in the same way. That's why they
Hmm.
can do what they do, and that's why they feel like,
Well, let me give a caveat to there. Not just merchandise, but also their protectors, their defenders,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
their suppliants, their victuals, their hey, we're also supposed to be their moral code, right? Hey, you're supposed to let me know if I'm pushing too far. I even had that
All
when I
things.
had that I had that told to me by a lieutenant colonel. By a lieutenant colonel when I was in the military, like, hey, you need to let me know, how this goes. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? And then I
What's
had to
that saying? All
understand,
things to all men.
bingo, yes, exactly, exactly. And it's not fair for us. It hasn't been fair for. This is why we're sitting out of this one. This is why, they're trying so hard with this new Black Panther person that, ICE against ICE and teaming up with the National Guard. Like, do you understand how big of look, we've been talking about the whole setup. They're gonna also use our people to go after our people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a setup.
That's what they've always done.
This is a
Why
point
change?
don't
Why
throw
change now?
operation. Which actually means to me that when the Supreme Court does hear that birthright citizenship case argument by April, I guarantee you the constitutional question regarding the legal status of African Americans or those that have been here, those that came here by way of the transatlantic slave trade. Oh, and by the way, the global system of the transatlantic slave trade, i.e., if you're Caribbean, if you're an islander, you don't get a pass because they'll say it's a global system. So you have to return back to your spot in the Caribbean, and then you got to return back to Africa just so you can legally immigrate, right? That's why, with the whole question of this situation going on with ICE and Border Patrol and everything else, it's the immigration status.
Do,
You come
Karis,
here. Yes.
do you think that that's the? I can actually see them doing that. I really can. But do
Mm-hmm.
you think that that's look? The Most High said, "I'm not leaving not one yet." And let's say they manage to say, "Look, you all need to go back to the place where you were taken from, so you could become citizens and so on and so forth." Do the same thing over here. Do the same thing over in France, in Italy, wherever we've been scattered to, and we end up going back home, and then then
Why?
it's war.
Here's the thing. Why not? Doesn't that sound a lot more palpable than just saying we got
It
to kick
does.
you on out? Right?
Yeah,
Hey,
it
look,
does.
we want you all to be over here the right way, so then therefore we can, properly pay your reparations, because we can't do that when you're still technically in a prisoner of war status.
But what if that's the mode that the Most High is using? Get my people out of there. I'm going to use them to do that. We're gone. We're back home. And then next thing we know, Joel chapter 3, all these nations come against one another.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because that is technically the economic collapse. That's why they're trying their best to get all their robots and everything else built.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised that Russ, that Musk, and some other folks, Boston, Dynamics, or um, they have their is it Boston Dynamics? I think it's one of them. Their Ninja robot. It was a ninja, yeah, for real. It was a ninja robot. That thing was like flipping and doing parkour. Like for real, the robot was doing parkour, like going up on the little construction folds. Why? Because that's their workforce that they're trying to replace with robots. So if
No,
you're,
those are their oppressors.
and those are going to be their future oppressors, exactly. And
You
remember,
know, it's going to be
in those,
creepy. They'll have human faces with robots, with
well,
all the parts showing out of their body, but the human faces to make them human.
yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead, brother Fasnicle.
Do you think the reason why the people who were unalived by ICE were done so that there can be an uproar, they can dismantle ICE and then let the country flood back in with immigrants?
Uh, potentially, there's potential reasons for that. Yes, and I would say that would be the timing. Again, I have that crazy theory. This is just my opinion. The crazy theory of, yes, I believe that when they had the question of birthright citizenship, which was always predominantly based off of our captivity, off of our being human trafficked here, our ancestors being human trafficked here, that is the question that they're going to have to then define, because again, that is going to be the moral argument that how can we even have technically a voice, which we do not have. Think about it. We've never actually even had a voice here in the United States. They've given us basically caretakers. They've given us who your politicians are, who the people that quote unquote represent you. Why do you think you never have anything in our interest? That's why people gave up on this whole political theater, which is what it is. It's just nonsense.
But technically, the so-called Hebrew Israelites, aka African Americans, are not citizens because Dred Scott was never repealed.
Well,
Only,
exactly. Yeah, go ahead, brother Asa.
you see, they may turn around and the MAGA people may turn around and say, you all are not citizens, and therefore you have to leave to make America great again.
Yep. You have to leave, and then you have to leave and come back. And they'll say it's just like every other country, right? It's just like, sometimes when you are working overseas, guess what? After, they only give you a 1 year permit. You have to leave for about um 30 days, depends on that country's immigration code or status, and then you can return.
Look at
That's
the
the
Windrush situation that happened in the UK. Many were World War II veterans, and their children that were born here that were British citizens were deported because they destroyed the records. And
Hmm.
then when the scandal broke, they allowed some back, but some haven't returned, and some have died in the Caribbean. Some have
Hmm.
lost houses, and some have lost pensions. And I personally believe that the United States is heading for the same situation.
Yep.
And despite that happening, statistics show that 73% of English people are in favor of an ICE style police force immigration enforcement over here. And that is going to happen because if you notice, I did a lot of research on this, and I hope that you will get the book safely, Karis, is that whenever Europe is under economic and social pressure, the political ground always shifts to the right, to
Hmm.
extremist right-wing politics, and they go for the lowest hanging fruit. In 1939, it was the so-called Ashkenazi. In during the liberation of slavery, it was us, and in 1857, after we were set free, then the Ku Klux Klan went into overdrive, and they were hanging, unaliving, I should say, um, as many African Americans as they could. The Whenever these tongue speaking and these independent churches and snake handling churches in America kept service on Sunday, they'd have a picnic, and they would find the someone, or a man, a child, or whoever it was wandering, and then they'd lynch that person, and then they would have dinner and feel comfortable about it. And we're right at the same situation, but the difference is this time they're seeing it happening to their own people, and
Yes.
which is causing them to look inwardly. And
Hmm.
also, it also makes them feel uncomfortable because they're seeing a reflection of themselves doing things to themselves, which is also politically destabilizing for their countries. I'm speaking a lot better now, am I not, than ever
Yeah.
before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some people are asking, okay, here's the reality of wealth in this debt-based system. Money, our money is actually not wealth. It's actually device or utilization to transact. Okay? It's actually
It's a
not money.
promissory note.
So they can literally turn off funds in your bank account like that, just like with the Thanos snap of a finger, because it's actually not money, it's debt. Even the $1 trillion worth of funds in circulation, dollar bills in circulation, well, guess what? You still have another like a couple hundred trillion, and that's on paper. The actual money and the actual wealth, I'm going to tell you this, is in Africa. It's in the continent. They call Ghana the Gold Coast for a reason. For a reason. Like I said, we are able to have access to 60 acres. And they're only asking us, and I say only, for 60 acres. They're only asking us for $400,000 for 60 acres. Oh, and by the way, once we start on that hospital, which we already have the full backing of to build the hospital, That trust is established, and guess what? They want to give us more land.
Opens
That's a
more
part of
doors.
our that's part of the MOU that we created with that
Mm.
with that district king. And that district king, this has regional oversight. And just to keep that in mind, the African diaspora in Ghana is now recognized as the 17th region. The only thing that we don't have is land. So when people say, well, where do you return to? Guess what? If you have places now that's recognizing a 17th region, or excuse me, an African diaspora region, like you have with Ghana, Ghana now created what? The mold.
Others will follow suit.
And others will follow suit. That's how that goes. Because when they see, oh, there's economic stabilization, oh, there's actually innovation, oh, there's now technological advancement. Because why? Because we bring in a wealth and a resource that is unmatched and unseen worldwide. Do you see
And
why a
you
lot of our people are going to China? And
and
China's not
you
minding it.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and the beauty of it is that our community, a substantial proportion of our community that listen to us, including myself, will, Yah willing, will be located in the same location. So hopefully, we will have each other to depend on, and hopefully there will be a support network, because you will have Brother Karis, if Yah willing, if we all live to see that day, in that region. You'll also speak in another Akan tribe, myself in another wing of the Akan tribe, actually high up, and we will be able to get things moving. And I'm praying that that day will come and that we all will be together. But you have a place where a majority of us who are listening online at the moment, if you have zero choice, it will be a good place to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incumbent upon all of us to do the best we can to back this situation. In Jamaica, they say one cocoa, full basket. And if we can give as much as we can or as little as we can reach that target.
May I jump in and say, between yesterday, when Brother Karras and a few of us had our talks, between then and now, we've had a little bit of a donation towards the land project. So anybody who wants to give, they can go to questuniteafrica.org, and right there on the top of the homepage, you can donate to the project.
Thank you very much, Brother Fast Nickel.
Yeah, now
Mm.
keep in mind, as I have spoken to the king, this does have a time limit to it. We have to get this done by the end of March 31st. That is, and I have to continue to push that on out there. This isn't just going to be done with us donating. We actually have to now talk to people. It's up to us. It's up to us to say, hey, would you like to support this endeavor? The first phase of this builds a hospital. We're trying to turn this into literally a medical city, because there's other things that's going to obviously have to support a hospital. The other day, I was driving to see my dad in Palm Bay on Saturday. And one of the routes I take goes by South Orlando. And in South Orlando, you literally have the VA kind of medical city. They call it like medical city. That's what they call it, the VA medical city. We have the VA, you have the University of Central Florida's medical school or medical campus, and then you also have a couple of other hospitals located in that area. And it's a it's a huge area. But that's all you see are just hospitals. And let me tell you, from there, that can all be done in the continent. And guess what? It could all be self-sustained in the continent. Yes, Nemours children. Yep. Somebody's from Orlando Regal bloodline. Somebody's from Orlando. Nemours. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm Tampa, so I just I try to pronounce it as I see it. But the awesome thing is Ghana is literally saying, no, we're going to control our resources. Because why? Because they want to build. They want to build. The problem is they need us. See, the reality of all of this is we just can't say, well, I want this, I want that. You have to have some skin in the game. Yeah. So, our dollar is going to be worthless. But you want to know what? It's the gift. It's the gift that we're not showing up empty-handed and that we're trying to compensate fairly. These folks that I talk to, they could literally offload the land for hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And guess what? The white folks, the Europeans, the Arabs, the Indians, and the Chinese would all flood into there. And they give that money like that. We've been given an opportunity to show that this is something that we can actually do. Unless you just want to stare and just see white people getting killed on the street. Because that's what they now want to have as the ultimate distraction.
Yeah, they're so willing to even sacrifice their own just for whatever.
They're willing to sacrifice their own just to ensure.
Did we say that earlier? Did we say? I think it was last week, wasn't it?
Yep, to ensure that we continue to be in their distractionary games.
Yeah, because when they show that if they're willing to do that to their own people, what are they willing to do to you?
Yep. Oh yeah, this is no holds barred. No holds barred. Yeah, for real. They deleted the white lady in her car. The one white guy, if you didn't see the video, I'm not going to show it here. Alex Preddy was his name.
Mm.
He was trying to help up a white woman. There's a lot of ICE, of course, everywhere. They're in the street. He's trying to wave the cars by because people are videotaping him, videotaping the police, and he's trying to wave the cars by. And obviously ICE is there, doing, they're getting out of the car because he's in the middle of the street. He to really, impede on the on their movements. That's what they're doing. They're doing civil, disobedience. I started to not just go towards him, but they started to go towards the other females that were by him, and they pushed them down, and he's trying to get them. Alex is trying to get them stood up to kind of move them, over into the side of the road. Because they fell and they hit they kind of hit their back on the car that was parked on the street. It's a commercial street.
So what does that tell you about this man?
Yeah, as he's doing that, the females the women are they're able to kind of get away, and they're yelling from a distance, but then you literally have about 8 people descend on this man. 8 people. And, the guy's, he's getting messed up. They're hitting him in the face and everything else. He's trying to protect himself. They're going through, they grab his arms. They literally took out his weapon that was holstered in his body. It wasn't even It wasn't even exposed. They had to unzip him in that whole process. As soon as they took the weapon out, they unloaded shots into him. They executed him in cold blood. So the question now is, if they can execute him in cold blood, what do you think they can do to us?
What they've been doing.
Well, guess what? Yeah, what they've been doing, but now black folks ain't going to be on the street like that. That's not our fight.
No.
And
And
we've
that's the
said that.
point, though.
Mm-hmm. Let me wrap this on up because I gotta get to work this morning. Most High willing, I can make it back to work. You know, it's real out here. It's real out here. And I tell you, and I showed you my little bit of a drive. I gotta drive through a Confederate flag that is flying on the intersections of I-4 and I-75. You can see it. A major intersection in the state of Florida. This is what's getting ready to go down. We don't have to be fearful. I'm not fearful, but we do have to be wise. We have to move with wisdom. As
And
I had said
vigilant.
in this channel, as I had said on this platform many, many a times, especially the Gentiles, I said this for years on this channel before I wrap this on up. I said this for years to our Gentiles listening. I said this. I said, your awakening is going to be probably very violent and very deadly. And now that's what's happening. And it had to happen that way for them because, to be quite honest, they're hard-headed. They're violently shaken out of their sleep. And not just with the Gentiles, but also our people too. That's being violently shaken out of their sleep, out of the slumber. Trump literally just ripped off the top cover and then splashed ice water on people in the middle of their sleep. Get it? Ice water. All right. Final thoughts. Final thought.
The only
I
final
got
thought
that.
that I'll say is when I came on your show, silver was at 110. Now it's at 111. And for anybody interested that's not part of my membership, tonight I'm going to start a series on wealth and talking about metals and how you can invest in metals without necessarily owning physical. Because it's going to be hard to get physical now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will.
It's
All
going the way
right.
the Bitcoin did.
All right. Thank you, Brother Fats Nickel. Brother Asaph, Sister Chantel, any thoughts before I shut
I'll
things
go
down?
very quickly.
Uh,
We don't know what's going to happen over the next coming days, but we know that the system has reached its crescendo now, and it won't go any further. It hasn't got much further to go. And once everything kicks off, we better have our to-go bags, and I'll end there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Asaph. Sister Chantel, any thoughts?
I'm just going to say this. What happened with that man is horrible. In my eye, I don't care what anyone want to say. This man was doing what he was doing. There's very few of them that act heroic. He was acting heroic. He knew what these people were like. They've
Mm-hmm.
been seeing it, and he knew there was a possibility that something could happen to him, but he still stayed the course of who he was. Given when you hear people's testimonies about what his work was, what he was like as a person, all right. That being said, and I say what I said, but there was good people amongst us as well, and I know I sometimes may come across, to some people I come across as, oh, you sound like you're really, I might sound harsh when it comes to them, and some people think I sound very, I don't know, the complete opposite. But with me, I feel for them. So, Brony, sorry. Yeah, I agree, but I do feel for them. I do, because we know what's coming to them.
Yes, we
They
do.
have an inkling of what's coming, but they really don't know what is coming. And again, it goes back to, we would have healed you, but you didn't want to hear. And it
Refused it.
takes
Go ahead.
exactly, it took this for us to get to this. You're coming to us and saying we need to all come together. No, coming together, your litmus test, your last gasp, your last chance was November 4th. It's
Mhm.
done. Did you not hear? It is done.
It,
There's no more. There's
what
no
is it?
more.
It is finished.
That's
It is
right. It
finished.
is finished. That's the call. Final call. That was the final call. The bell went out and you didn't hear it. Now everything that's happened is literally on a one-to-one case for you. That's how it's going to be. And we are not trying to dead ourselves for you. If you don't realize that, just stop trying to get us to put our bodies out there for your benefit. It's not working like that. And that's another thing that they're trying to do. Like, I can't remember what you said about, you said something, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. This is a way for them. Oh, the Black Panther. Notice how that happened when this happened, or the
Hmm.
Black Panther when this happened, and it's like they're trying to get us riled up to get our people back out there. It's not happening, because our people are literally saying, no, we're done. You lot have been trying to do this systematically from the Black Lives Matter thing that you had, the mural that you had on the ground that you ripped up. All these things that you even down. Remember, I was telling you about the the history that they're now breaking down from and pulling down from off of, was it George Washington's house in Philadelphia? That
Hmm.
all of this is to get you into the streets, to get you to protest. Doesn't matter whether you just come there just to stand there and to let's say you go there to try and take pictures, to be like, I want to get the last final, or even to be like, I'm going to take these plaques, I'm going to take these. Police will come out. Any little reason, something
Yeah.
so simple, anything, and they will utilize that. But this is the time where we're like, okay, you know what? We don't need this. Our history was taken. Look, we've gone through having our history taken away from us, our
Hmm.
true history being taken away from us. We had to start again. The Most High said that He's going to wash us. He's going to sprinkle clean water on us. He's going to do everything. So all these things, as much as it hurts, we're going to have to leave behind. When Yaakov said you're going to have to flee, when you're fleeing, who's going to be going there, stopping off to go and pick up a few items? No, it's flee. It's literally run, drop everything else, and leave. Because that's the mindset we have to be at. The mindset is they're doing what they're doing to try to entice us out there for any little reason. And we have to just be like, no, we're done. That's it. Anyway, like I always say, stay away from them. Yeah,
All
stay away
right.
from them.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, panel. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're here in a different season. Thank you all for your support of this channel. Again, this is we're in some interesting times. It's and I pray for the safety of our people. And I pray that we are again right wise as serpents but harmless as doves in this time. And I pray that we are spreading the message of the kingdom, and that's through Yahushua HaMashiach. That's it. You know, the funny thing is that as you look at the word and the ending of our captivity, the realization is actually our captivity ends here, but after it ends, then we leave. We're getting up on out of here. That's how this thing goes. It's a time that they literally just have to surrender us. Okay, we can't hold on to them anymore. The Most High has literally broken their arms. And that's what's happening. So with that said, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. Be safe on out there. Be watchful. Be mindful. If you're living in these colder northern states, definitely stay warm. It's not fun, especially with that blowing weather and cold and snow. So I'm praying for you all. And this is going to be we're going through this black winter, and they're finding out the hard way. All right, family. With that, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.